What is up, everyone? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with other Transformers third-party review. And today the figure that we're reviewing is the Star Toys Lightning. And this is Star Toys' take on a Masterpiece style Blitzwing. And I'm not sure if like Star Toys is actually like a different company. I'm getting a lot of like Transform Element vibes off of this guy, like a lot of Transform Element vibes off of this guy. So I don't know if like Transform Elements like change their name to Star Toys or something like that. I know that sometimes companies will release items under other names for whatever reason. And I don't know if something like that has happened here, but I suspect. But, yeah, so he is, extremely, like, it follows very closely to the, like, show look, the, like, 2D artwork, the line art and whatnot, which works both to his benefit and to his detriment. It works to his benefit in this mode a lot because he is very show accurate and he looks very good. Full disclosure, I have a DX9 Gevalt, and I love this figure. I love this figure a lot, a whole lot, a whole hell of a lot. I absolutely love this figure. And in the words of, what's his name? I like this. I'm sorry. This is brilliant, but I like this. And that's where I sit with this. Like, this is a cool looking figure, and it does its job very well. But, like, I really like this figure. Like, where this one looks like a scrawny kid in gym class, and this one looks like a bodybuilder. You know, like that's just the one mode. The tank on this guy is a little silly looking, but jet mode absolutely can't be beat by even a Masterpiece jet. So that's something. Whereas this guy, he looks very good in his robot mode because he looks very true to the line art, even from the front, from the back. Like, he looks very good to it. However, his jet mode in particular is just complete ass. Granted, it's because it's based off of an old, low-budget 80s cartoon where the design of the jet mode for this guy was complete ass, because that was based off of a crappy 80s toy, and I say crappy using today's terms. I fully appreciate, you know, what Blitzwing meant for the franchise way back in the 80s. I lived through the 80s. But, like, it is a toy that has not aged well. And this guy is based off of... And then that toy became a crappy line art. And then that crappy line art became this amazingly engineered figure with a crappy looking alt mode. The tank mode is pretty decent, actually. But, anyhow, let's get into his accessories. He comes with a gun, which is, again, very accurate to how it's supposed to look. Got all the, like, 80s greebles and whatnot on it. It just smacks right into his hand. You got the little tab. It'll go into either hand. I generally like to dual wield my guys with, like, the gun in the right hand and the sword in the left hand, but I will mix it up from time to time. No, I lied. I generally like to do it the other way. And then his sword, again, has got tabs on both sides. A little piece of yellow paint app. The yellow looks really good, even though it is... There's a tiny bit of overspray, but it's like hardly noticeable. It's very well done in terms of an app. I know that yellow paint over purple plastic is difficult, so I'm giving them kudos where kudos are due. And they are certainly due there. But yeah, he holds it and they get held. He also comes with an alternate face. This is actually, he's got the alternate face on, where his mouth is ever so slightly open. And here's the regular face that it comes with, where his mouth is ever so slightly closed. They look almost exactly like the same face sculpts. You just kind of hold everything in place with one finger and just push on that with all of your might with the other finger, and then it kind of pops out and you put the other one in, and now he has basically the same expression. He has the look of a guy who has a lot to do but not a lot to think about, and I think that's fair. There is like a little bit of purple paint here, a little bit of red paint here, which does seem to be chipping a little bit. His head is almost like the yellow is all paint, the red is all paint, the face is painted. But like, there's actually surprisingly not much paint. A little spot of red here. These are painted purple on purple plastic, so you get a little bit of off shade there. Little details here, and like the treads, but like, there's really not a lot on here. This panel is die cast, and some of the struts in here are die cast. But yeah, most of the paint on this figure actually goes into the treads. It's mostly got that, you know, just flat, and it's not a bad looking plastic. It doesn't have any kind of like a subsurface scattering thing going on like a lot of the like Magic Square stuff did. It's just, it's solid plastic, and it feels nice too. You know, I mean, the figure definitely does feel sturdy. He does like to lean back a little bit, but the feet are on, you can pivot them forward and backwards a little bit. And so it helps to like rock him forward just a smidge. And then he stands pretty damn straight. And it works out well enough. But, yeah, in terms of articulation, let's get his accessories out. In terms of articulation, his head is on a hinge, which allows him to look all the way up. And then it's also on a ball joint that's connected to that hinge. And on that ball joint itself, it has just, that's where your rotation comes from. And then you've got your rudimentary amount of ball jointage. But all of his looking up is going to be pretty much all that hinge. Then he will look down a bit, but only a little bit. His shoulder is on a ratchet, and it'll go that far forward before it starts whacking stuff, and that far back. So not at all. It'll come out for the full tree pose. He's got a bicep swivel here, double joint at the elbow. And then for the wrist, he has a swivel here, which gives him a little bit of in and out motion. He rotates all the way around. Then you've got his thumb is on a ball joint and a hinge and a hinge, and then each of his fingers is on a hinge and a hinge. So he doesn't have the typewriter fingers terribly bad, actually. They make fairly straight, slightly arthritic looking fingers. He does come with an ab crunch, which is pretty nice. And go forward quite a bit, go backwards a bit. His waist will also rotate that much before his before his pants start banging into the rest of the jet mode. He's got hip skirts on the side and then one big unified hip skirt on the front, which I never like those, but I can see why they did it. It hides up any seams that are going to be right on his crouch. Leg goes forward that much, goes backwards a little bit, comes out for the full Van Damme. He's got a swivel at the thigh. He's got a single joint bend. Actually, that's a double joint bend, isn't it? At the knee for that much. And then his foot has got, if you rotate it to give yourself some space, he's got a little bit of forward and back. But when it's just smacked right in here, There's no forward and back motion on there. You get a little bit of wiggle off of the back heel, but not anything off of the front heel. Well, I guess you do get a little bit of toe upward. Just a smidge. Oh, and this little chunk right here is die cast as well. That's it for his articulation. Again, it's decent. It's not amazing, but it is decent. And he does all this while remaining very true to the G1 line art. I like to have, I know that this is proper with these fins out, but I like to put them up. I think that looks just oodles better, if you ask me, but I know that this is accurate. But anyhow, as always, when we do triple changers, I am going to take a coin, and we are going to flip this coin to see how we want to transform it. So this number will be jet mode, and this number will be tank mode, and I sure hope we get tank mode, because I always get turned around turning him from robot into jet. Like jet into tank, that all works for me. And robot into tank, that all works for me, but tank into jet mode, that's fine too. But like robot into jet, for some reason, that always gets me, so we'll have to see how it goes. I said the numbers were the airplane mode, didn't I? Well, shit. Alright, so to get him transformed into his jet mode, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put his hands away. We're just going to pack them up. You fold his hands into your typical box shape here by putting the thumb across the palm and then curling the fingers in over the top of the thumb. And then you come around, and there's a little doohickey here that you can get a fingernail into or whatnot. I'm using the whatnot in case you hadn't noticed. And you just open that and bring that all the way around and then just smack that right in there, just like that. And we're going to do this for the other side. Open that up, bring that around, smack that in just like so. One QC issue that I got to point out while I'm in here doing all this. So when you open up these panels on the back, there's this flap right here, and this flap folds in for the alt modes. In the robot modes, you see it covers the back of this and fills in that gap very nicely, I might add. But you open this up, you flip that in, and then you do what you need to do with the rest of the leg. On this one, on this sample, and I have heard that it is a fairly common problem, this one doesn't have a pin. And it's not broken or anything like that. It doesn't have a pin. And so I guess be careful. If yours doesn't have a pin, be careful and ask for a pin. And just be sure to not lose that thing. I almost feel like I can fabricate a like a replacement pin for it. But I don't know if that's on the I don't know if that's on the list of things for me to do. I am borrowing this figure. You guys have noticed probably that I'm borrowing an awful lot of figures. I do have my own figures to review. When someone loans me a figure, that takes precedence, and so like I try not to sit on it for weeks, but I always end up sitting on their figures for weeks. So you fold the back of the heel in, fold this little flap down, and then this will open up like so. And then this, which is just tight as tight can be, you turn his toe around, and then you bring that up, and that connects in, and then you can take this guy here, and that just sits right there like that. And then this whole section will turn around. Every now and again, I'm going to turn this foot into a jet exhaust. I don't know. Turn around. Don't get me started. Open this up. Bring this in. Flip this around. This one's a little bit easier. Actually, when I first transformed this figure, this one hadn't seated fully on its mushroom peg, and I had to really dig around with it in ways that are that, you know, conclusively were good for the figure, but probably as long as I didn't break anything, I'm probably not going to tell the guy about it. So unless he's watching, hey, how's it going, buddy? It's all good. Everything's great. Everything is awesome. Everything is great and everything is awesome. Combiner wars these up, and then you just want to leave this panel open. I think the next thing we want to do is let's do all of this crap on the back. So we're going to push this in and then up, and that will untab it from this little peg right here. And then while you're in here, you want to open up these panels right here. That will help to disconnect this all from his back. And this will just kind of all, and you want to pull this, there's a tab that keeps this whole structure connected to, this one tab that keeps this whole thing connected to the turret. So, and then you just kind of want to fold this out and fold that out. Most notably, this whole thing connects to this piece right here that's connected to his ass. And so when you disconnect this all, it'll kind of stand out like that. And if you can do some like super cool balancing act like so to kind of like keep things out of the way, because what you want to do next is you want to rotate this entire thing. Ugh. These arms are going to be the death of me. You want to rotate this entire thing at, so here's his waist here, but you want to rotate it at this point right here. And then once that's done, then you want to open up his dick plate and rotate this around below the waist. So we are rotating in the waist lots of places, but not actually at the waist. Everywhere but the waist. So yeah, that's how that's going down. While we're here, we can take this turret. This turret, by the way, is super cool. Like, they do some like origami shit with this, and I love it. You can take and open this up, and then fold this turret all the way in, and then close it back up. And then this will fold down to right here, and it'll just kind of hang out here for now. Well, I mean, you can kind of peg it in. It may come unpegged. We'll check on it before we're done. But that's basically where that sits. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, when you're combiner warsing his legs down, you want to open up this panel first. It'll make your life easier, and I didn't do it because I'm a dumbass. So it won't make your life that difficult, I guess, but, you know, you probably should do it anyhow. So for this wing, you want to take this, and this is going to disconnect from a peg here. It is going to disconnect. Disconnect from a peg here. There we go. See, just like that. Super easy. Bring this out, rotate it. This little wing part here, which is like that, you want to bring this out. It pulls away ever so slightly, and then you kind of want to like rotate it to bring it out, and then rotate it back into place, and then bring it back in, and it'll tab into this thing, and you got that all working out great. This section here is going to come out. You've got, so this is going to disconnect here. You'll see that there's a peg here. This peg fits into that slot, and that keeps it all. But there's this little armature here, and there's a sliding joint, and you want to slide this out. And that will allow you to then bring this out on that same joint And now there's another slot right here. That same peg is going to fit into this new slot, like so. And now what you want to do is you want to take, I probably could have done this earlier. I probably could have. You want to you want to undo what I did because I should have done it earlier. Open this up, bring this out, because you want to take this part. We got to get the arm over this whole structure. So you want to fold this out so that it's sitting like this, and then as you bring the arm, it won't fit like that. You have to also bend the arm up and over. So basically your arm is bending, your arm is turning at that clicky joint by 180 degrees, while the armature is also turning by 180 degrees. So you're basically turning the arm 360 degrees, but with extra steps. And now that that's done, you got to take and you remember that peg, that tab, and that slot? We got to do that back again. But this time, we gotta rotate. This arm, I think, rotates like that, with these tabs facing in like so. And you have to peg this back in with the arm in the way. There's no other way around that. Which means you're basically like doing this by blind luck. Unless you can happen to see it, which I can't. Boom. All right. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take this part here. This is on the little spring. And we're going to take this, and this is on the slidey. This is on the slidey right here. We're going to slide that over. And we're going to... If it slides over, then this part can fold all the way up. And then we can bring it like that. And then we can slide it over behind this little section here. And that's a wing pretty much all done. And you may be looking at this and being like, Zach, why are you having such difficulty with this? It's really easy, bro. Yeah, probably. So you're going to bring this down, and then there are, oh yeah, there's this double hinge right here in the wing. You got to smack that up there. And now there's a series of pegs. There's a tab here and a tab here, and there's a tab. There's not actually a tab on that arm, but you want to tab these. Specifically, you want to tab this tab and this tab into this slot and this slot. And I want to say that this slot, that this tab on the arm fits into this slot here. No, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it fits into here? I don't know. Once you get it all in, you'll feel it, you know, kind of lock in moderately securely. Maybe I was just doing this wrong. Maybe I gotta turn this again. God damn, this is the part that always throws me off. His arm wants to go a certain way, but is that the way? No, I don't think it is. Is that the way? Maybe that's the way. Except it shows hand parts in there, but I don't know. Jet mode sucks anyhow, so I guess it doesn't really matter if it sucks a little bit more. Yeah. That's a wing all done. Now we just got to do all that same crap with the other wing. All that same crap with the other wing. How did I have this? I have this like that. No, I had it like this. Yes. Yes, that's how I had it. All right, bring this, untab that, bring this out, fold this down, put this in frame because I don't want to hold it up because it's heavy, or something like that. Bring this out, slide this. I should probably show what I'm doing. Slide this, bring this out, bring this up and over and around and down and boom. Compress this like so. And then we are going to put this guy underneath like so, and then bring this in, tab that wing in like so, tab that into the wing like so, and then bring this up and slot that in. And then this is going to come down and just crunch into, I say crunch, but like really it's nicer than that, into there like so. Booyah! And now he's done. No, he's not. We're going to open this up like so, like so. We're going to open this up like so. Actually, we're going to open up these guys like so. Open sesame, damn you. These are going to swing around and kind of tuck in back behind here. Like that. This is going to come out. This is going to come out. This little panel here is going to come out. And then this whole little section is going to flip around. And then this is going to wedge itself in between these two panels like that. And now all you've got left is this. I feel like I should have done the nose before I... No, this is fine. Everything is great. Everything is fine. Yeah, I should have. Son of a... This transformation really isn't difficult. It has a really specific order of operations. The reason why I'm opening this back up is because when you put this up, and then you put the cockpit up, and then you fold out the nose cones, and then you fold up the nose pieces to get... Oh, you got to put down the landing gear. That's right, before that comes out. And then put the landing gear back up. And then you can take this guy here and you can fold this up and, like, I don't know, you can turn it to give yourself some extra space. Because there's nothing wrong with giving yourself some extra space. We are not masochists here. And then you got to flip out these things here. And then they have to be pushed in a bit. Otherwise, they will not go past this nose cone. But if they get pushed in, they won't tab into their slots, which are underneath here. So you have to reach in with your finger after you've moved them up. And I missed completely. There's a tab. There's a tab and the slot. There's a tab and the slot. There we go. All right. Yeah, you have to reach in from behind to push those into the correct place. And as far as I know, there's no other way to do it. And then this guy goes back to where he was. And there he is in his jet mode. And by God, this is supposed to be like a MiG-29 Foxbat. Whatever the Foxbat was called. I think it was a MiG-29. It's supposed to be a MiG-29 Foxbat. It doesn't really look anything like a MiG-29. But it sure does look an awful lot like Blitzwing's on-screen alt mode. And I guess if that's what it really needs to be, then it's fantastic. But I don't know. If the original design was super iffy, then like religious adherence to it is not necessarily a trait of quality, if you ask me. But that's just me. So you can take and flip out some landing gear. Come on, landing gear. Come on, landing gear. Yeah. And then he's got one more up here, as most airplanes do. And as you can see, he just barely makes clearance over that turret part. But he will sit there, and these are all rolling wheels, so they will roll. So that's cool. Cool enough. And these guys, as far as I know, they don't fit anywhere. There's no weapon storage for them, as far as I know. Yeah, as far as I know, no weapon storage. But there you have Blitzwing in his alt mode, and this is the part where I would normally bring in my comparison figure in his alt mode. But you know what? His alt mode won't fit in this frame because it is a freaking massive, extremely accurate MiG-29 Foxbat. And I love it, but it's not going to fit in this without moving everything all out and whatnot. We're here to look at this figure, not the other figure. I know that this is my hot take. I'm in the minority when I say that Gewalt is a better figure than this one. But I'm here to promote this figure. And this figure, it's good for what it does. But to turn it from here into its tank mode is a lot of work. But let's get started. So we want to take and we want to bring these out once more. Open this part up. Open this part up. Maybe I do need to use my spudger and give myself some. Yeah. Open that up. Fold these little venty things in. We're going to take the head and we're going to rotate it and bring it all the way back like so. Well, in a little bit here. Actually, I think I'm going to bring that out. Just to give myself some clearance because some of these parts don't fit super well past each other. So open this up. Bring these out to the sides. Bring this cockpit section down. Take these and bring them all the way around and fold them in. And now fold his landing gear back up. And then take these and fold them around. And take his head and tuck it in back here. And then close this back up. These will actually end up back where they were before, but I'm not ready to do that quite yet. For this section here, you want to open up these guys here, and actually let's deal with the wings and arm first, because this is just a whole thing. Basically, the thing that you want to keep in mind while you're doing this is the beige side, and this is the purple side. Purple side is the up for airplane mode. Beige side is the up for the tank mode. And so if you look at the wings have got a purple side and a beige side. So you need to move the wings up so that they are now they're on the bottom of it, they need to be at the top. And the way we're going to do this is we have to move this turret up and out of the way once more. And then we need to disconnect these wing sections. And they are going to sit down like so. And while we've got this here, we might as well open up these legs just a little bit and fold these up, just like how they were in the robot mode. We're just going to put them back to where they started. And fold up the stabilizers. Oh, hey, it's time for me to study my Indonesian, which I will do later. And fold that up. By studying my Indonesian, sometimes I take that to mean my Indonesian language lessons, and sometimes I take that to mean my Indonesian wife. So now this whole thing is going to rotate. This is exactly what we did before. So we're going to rotate the whole thing up at this above the waist joint, and then at this below the waist joint, because you'll notice that puts the base side on the base side. Well, actually, it was on the base side before, but it puts the wings all the way around to the other side too, which is very, very important. So now what we want to do with this is we want to take these and rotate them around like so. Well, let's rotate them just up like this, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the arm sections. So we want to take this part, fold this around, and then bend it in. And that's how that's going to live when it actually goes to its home. Let's take this guy and bring this out. Like we had it before, because we're also going to need to move the arms back to where we had them before. Let's disconnect these treads from the wing. There's a tab that we just did a couple minutes ago. There we go. Bring this out. Oh yeah, and one thing, and I don't like this step at all, because it's just like parts from, I don't know. On a figure like this, on a figure this intense, that just seems lazy. Like, I feel like there was a better way to engineer that. I'm not sure offhand exactly what that would be, but I feel like it could have been done. With all the other, like, 48 consecutive miracles that this transformation does, I feel like they could have, like, put it in number 49, Anyhow, so we're going to do exactly what we did before. So rotate this arm up and around as we rotate the arm armature, the arm armature up and around. So how this is basically going to end up, let's put this guy around like so. This guy is going to come down and around, and it's actually going to peg in right there. And this is actually going to peg in down here. There's a tab and a slot, and a tab and a slot. This little thing is still going to stay out on this little slider, so it's going to fit in there. And then what we want to do is we want to get this tank treads into its proper place. Oh, well, I've got this open. You want to take this guy here and stick the missile onto this little tab. There's a tiny little slot in here. Now open this up. You want to make sure that your pegs, your panel with the pegs, is facing down, and then you're going to bring this in while you fold this arm, tuck the arm into the tread. And this tab will plug into a little slot on that wing, but not securely at all. This actually little tab here, which slots from the arm into the tread, is more secure, but still not very secure. Bring that down, and then this will come in, and you'll got this little peg here. This will kind of rotate out, and then come on that and fold in, and there you go. There you go. I haven't even gotten to the challenging part yet, which is this turret. For whatever reason, this little panel right here, it fits in between these guys. See these little slots here? It fits in between those really well, but this guy is just a complete pain in the ass. And I'm not sure exactly why, because it's the same tabs, it's the same slots, it's all the same thing. All right, pull this guy out. Drop that somewhere, but somewhere where you can find it. Open this up, bring this all the way around. Because of clearance issues, you'll need to bring this all the way around, like so. And then you're going to disconnect that, disconnect that, disconnect that, bring this out, like so, bring the arm up and around, put that guy home. Let me see about dealing with the turret while I've already got this half transformed. Hopefully that it doesn't undo. So you want to unpeg these two guys here, and then bring this out and bring this out. And then you want to kind of bring these out a little bit. That'll give you some clearance. And then rotate this at this hinge here. And then rotate this at this hinge here. You may need to rotate these to get them out of the way a little bit. And then bring this out, and then bring these both in back together. And then these will come down and around, and then you've got two tabs here with slots here, and they'll just plug into that. So again, bring this around, slots and tabs, plug in. And now, while I've got this open, maybe this will work out a little bit easier, because I found it to be just a complete pain in the patootie. So that one went in, and then this one, there we go. Well, hopefully that doesn't undo itself, because it is a difficult thing to redo. Alrighty, plug these into each other like so. Alright, so now we're going to take this guy and plug this in facing that direction. It actually won't plug in the other way because the fin, the little bottom fin, actually collides with this little boss right here. So I'm going to take this and open this up. Like so. And then we're going to transform it to come down below this arm. It is a tight fit, getting past that. But once you get it past that, it all works out. I feel like my problem is, I may have mentioned that this guy is on the slider here. You do want to make sure that this is slid up as far as it'll go. Boom. And there you have him in his tank mode, which, like I said, his tank mode actually looks pretty decent. It's got little jet engines on the back, which is accurate to the show, not accurate to a real world tank. And everything aligns up pretty well for the most part. Your turret rotates all the way around, no hindrance there. You can look this up and down. It's got wheels on the bottom, so he does roll very nicely, I might add. And it's all it's a very good looking tank, actually. The tank mode on my beloved Gevalt is a little derpy, but I still like it. But this guy, I mean, it looks like, I don't remember exactly what kind of Soviet era tank this guy is supposed to be, but it looks very tank-like. And that's about all I've got to say about this guy. We've looked at all of his modes and we've done all of his things, and again, he doesn't have any kind of weapon storage in this, but he does have some weapon storage actually. A little sandwich baggie. You can even put his face in there too. And close that up. Holds his weapons very well, actually. But that's all I've got to say about this guy. Again, it's a brilliant figure. I like the way it's done. It's very well executed. It looks very screen accurate in all of its modes. I'm having some minor alignment issues, but that's probably because I did something a tiny bit wrong. And if I had to guess, it's probably because I didn't slide this slider all the way out. Huh. Yeah, that almost entirely fixed it. But yeah, so it does what it does. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. You know, is Gevalt ever going to be screen accurate? No, it is not. But that's not why I got it. Is this guy... I mean, this guy, I think he looks great in robot mode. He looks really, you know, sharp onto the line art. how he looked on screen. If that's what you're looking for, this is absolutely the best choice for you. But anyhow, that's all I've got to say. Everybody, thanks for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.